What's happening, folks? I'm gonna take a moment to check my sound. Got a new microphone, man. Well, actually, I've been had this microphone. It's just been kind of collecting dust. I almost threw it away. Well, actually, I've been had this microphone. It's just been kind of collecting dust. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right. So, what's happening, folks? Dylan Alexander here, and I just wanted to bring this message to you guys today, discussing why everybody must be their own boss. You have to put yourself first, and being your own boss is more than just being a business owner. Even if you have a job, you can be your own boss. What's happening, Jay Sean? Salute. Being your own boss is not just about having a business. It's about everything in your life. You have to be able to tell yourself what to do, how to do it, when to do it at all times. A boss is somebody who is in charge, right? So it's not just about business, like I said. And I think a lot of us forget this, and we can fall victim to society telling us what to do rather than telling yourself what to do, right? And I see it happen all the time, unfortunately, a lot of us have to work jobs. We have to clock in and follow instructions from some stranger who is in control of our paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're getting paid well, hopefully you're getting paid well. That's what you got to do. You got to follow instructions, do your job, get in, clock out, go home. But after you clock out, even, you still got to be in charge of yourself, right? Life never stops until you're dead, of course. But you're watching this right now, you're alive, life is going, man. And while life is going, somebody's got to tell you what to do. And it's got to be you, right? You see, man, being a boss entails so much. It's the mentality you have to attack this world. And people can feel it. People can feel your energy when you have that boss mentality. You can walk into a room and just the way you carry yourself, people can feel like, oh, this man is important. This guy is running things. And that's the energy you want to portray. That's the energy you want to give off to people, right? And it's easier said than done to be a boss. It's like, yeah, I'm in charge of myself. I tell myself what to do. But it does take work to be your own boss, right? Like, do you have a daily routine that you have every single day? Do you have certain things that you do every day that you may not even want to do, but you do them because you know that they're good for you? That's called discipline, right? And discipline is imperative to being a boss, right? You can't be successful without having discipline. You can't get far in life without discipline. And every boss that we have, anybody that's in charge of us, gives us something to be disciplined about. So I think this message is important today because, most people are just sheep, just waiting for orders to follow. And you look up, next thing you know, a year's passed, 2 years passed, and you just kind of, sometimes you'll wake up out of nowhere and realize, like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just over here taking orders. I'm like a robot that just follows instructions, and I'm like this cog in a machine. And I don't want that for you guys, man. If you guys are watching this and you're following my channel, I changed my name recently to my real name, Dylan Alexander, and then I added the great on the end of that because that's how I feel about myself, no matter what. And anybody that watches my channel, I want you to feel the same way about yourself. I want you to feel the greatness that's within you. If you went to school, if you went to elementary school through 12th grade or whatever, this whole system is designed for you to follow instructions. Nobody's really here to tell you how great you are. Nobody really reminds us of how great we are. We think we're just kind of mediocre. We feel like we're just average. Many of us do. And it's very normal to feel like you're not that important. And, we all fall for this. Some of us believe it. But for the select few guys out here who are fortunate enough to realize that that's just a facade and to realize it's BS and to know the truth, which is you are an extension of the Most High. That's such a beautiful, powerful thing that they don't want you to know, that you're an extension of the Creator who created this whole earth and the universe encompassing that. You're an extension of that. And the most beautiful thing is that you're blessed with the gift of having a mind that can think, a mind that can create, come up with ideas. I mean, that's like the biggest gift of all time. Since the beginning of time, since man has been here, we've been creating, right? And I think we need to use that power as often as possible. So I think it's important, man, for us to always remember that fact and don't forget it, even though it's very easy to forget it, especially with social media and just all the distractions we have coming at us. We forget how important we are, man. We think we're just another number, man. And it's not the case. So I think it's important, man, for us to flex our power of creativity, to dabble in some kind of creative endeavor and use these powers to bring something beautiful to the world. Because the world does deserve your gifts. You owe the world your gifts. Look at it like that. You owe the world your gifts. There's a lot of people out here that are just taking up space, just breathing up all this good air. And they think that's all they need to do, which is a waste. It's like a waste of life. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And it's very disheartening for me to see people that have potential not using it all the way, right? But to tie back to the point, man, of being your own boss, it takes a lot of mental power to have a boss mentality. Every boss of every company, for example, we'll use businesses as an example because that's what we know most bosses as, right? Business owners, CEOs. Business owners and CEOs, they have to handle everything. They make the final decision when it comes to their enterprise, when it comes to their business. When there's a problem, they're the ones who have to solve it, ultimately. Of course, when you're more established, you eventually hire people that are competent enough to handle these problems on their own so that, little petty things you don't have to deal with. You handle the big stuff, the big deals, right? That's what you really want to focus on, and let the managers and the supervisors handle the little small problems. But when you're starting off as a boss for any enterprise, you're the one that handles everything. You have like 10, 20 different hats that you wear, right? you're the accountant, you're the salesman, you're the customer service rep, you're the janitor. I'm talking about you're the tax manager. You're everything for your business. And you're doing the best job you can for each one of those jobs. You're doing the best because this is your baby. This is all about you, right? You want to see it succeed. You don't want to run a business that's going to fail. You don't want that, obviously. So you're going to do your best in each one of those jobs, right? And the same thing applies with life. You know, we have so many things we have to do in our life every day, you know, especially if you're like a single guy. There's a lot of people that are single out here. Most of us don't have a wife that we can count on, unfortunately, in this society. And so with that said, you know, you have to rely on yourself to get a lot of things done. You have to go clock into your job. You got to do a good job. Make sure you get paid. You got to come home. You got to make sure you got some food, whether you go pick up some food or you cook some food. You got to handle that. You got to make sure you find some time to work out. Hopefully, right? Hopefully you ain't just out here letting yourself go. But all this stuff, it's every day there's something new. You got to make sure, you know, your social life is straight. Make sure you have some people that you're hanging out with on a regular basis to make sure you ain't going crazy, right? Then you got to turn around on top of the social life. You got to make sure you out here talking to women, making sure you ain't going, you ain't going crazy. You know, not dealing with women at all. Because, you know, if you don't talk to women long enough, it gets harder to eventually get back to talking to them, right? So there's so many things you got to really think about and consider as a boss in your regular life. And like I said, with being a CEO, a real boss of a business, it's the same concept. It translates the same way in your real life. And, you know, the main job of a boss is making a decision, making the executive decision in your life when it comes to handling big problems or big things that you don't know really what to do. But you have to trust yourself and trust that you're going to make the right decision. For example, you know, recently, I've been having some issues with my, you know, dabbling with my financial situation. And this has happened plenty of times before. I've been broke before, but I'm making my comeback, right? But, you know, deep down, I've always known that when worst comes to worst, I'll make the right decision that I need to make. You know, I've been told even, you know, you have to make certain decisions that may not even make sense. Like, I know I got to pay myself first when it comes to anything, right? The Richest Man in Babylon is a great book that reminded me to always pay myself first, no matter what. I don't care if this is my last $1,000 and my rent is $900, or let's say my rent is $1,000. I got $1,000 to my name, right? And rent is due tomorrow. I got to make a decision. Rent's due tomorrow. I got $1,000. Rent is $1,000. I'm not about to sit here and give them my full $1,000 because I'm not going to have any money after that, right? So what am I going to do? Well, as a boss, I'm going to make the executive decision to say, you know what, Mr. Landlord, I'm going to pay you $900, right? Because I got to pay myself first. I got to pay myself $100 at least. I'm going to keep $100. That's 10%, right? I'll pay you $9. Make a deal, you know, work out a deal with the landlord. And they'll work with you, believe it or not. They're not just going to kick you out. They want money, right? So I'm going to say, hey, landlord, I'll pay you $900. I got to pay myself $100. I owe you 100. I'll get that to you eventually, but I got to pay myself first because that's priority in my life. I got to put myself first because I'm the boss of my life. I have to do that. I'm not going to just be out here paying y'all my full bank account balance just because you asked. Meanwhile, my bank account is empty because I'm being a good tenant, paying my rent fully. No, it's me first. F the landlord. The landlord doesn't love me. The landlord doesn't care about me. I'm just apartment number XYZ to them. They don't know my brothers and sisters and my mother. They don't know my family. They don't know me. So put yourself first, man. Right? As a boss, you have to make these kind of decisions that may seem kind of crazy, but to you, they make sense. And you got to make these executive decisions, you know. That's right. You can always get a job if you have to. Right? I mean, if you need to fall back on it, people are hiring out here. And the thing is, I can go on a tangent about that, but yeah, it's hard, man. Once you start working for yourself, it's really hard to work for somebody else because you know it's you're not getting what you're worth, right? And it's easier said than done because you could say, "Oh, I'm worth this and that," but it's like you have to prove to yourself that you're worth more, right? You have to show yourself that you're capable of making more and earning more. Where you think in terms of profit versus wage, right? Most people work a job, they're getting paid an hourly wage based on the time that they are clocked in. And that's super duper limited. And and then taxes on top of that. It's a scam, man. It's a super duper scam. And you want to think in terms of the person that hired you. No matter what job you work for, you want to think in terms of the person that hired you, because the person that hired you, they're making the big money. They're making so much money that they have a little extra to pay you to do mediocre stuff. Just think about that. It feels really, and I'm saying this out of love. I want it to like piss you off. Like it pisses me off when I think about it. Because my last job was in 2019 at Apple. And I remember working there, getting paid like $15 every hour, not to mention the taxes. But I'm just saying, I'm sitting here in the Apple store, and every single day I'm helping people buy these $1,000 plus products. I'm over here doing these transactions for thousands of dollars. They're handing me $2,000-$3,000 for some MacBooks, iPhones, and everything else. And I'm over here like, damn, looking at all these $100 bills, and I can't have none of that. I got to put this shit in a drawer and hand them their change, and they're off with their devices. And I'm just sitting here stuck with $15 per hour minus taxes. There's something about that, it just feels dirty. But most people don't really let that sink in. They don't really let that sink in, right? To where it pisses you off. And I remember it pissed me the fuck off. And you just there's a point where you have to see the truth for what it is, and you have to not care about these corporations that are hiring you. You have to see the fact that you're just here to do a job, and you can easily be replaced from Johnny on the street. You dig? So what I was like, I was just in the mind state of, okay, outside of these work hours, I'm going to do whatever it takes to figure out a way to not have to be here anymore and to do better than what I'm doing. Like, It's number one at the top of my list of important things I have to do. The number one priority is figuring out how to get out of this situation, because this is not in my favor. You know who cares about my favor? You know who cares about my situation the most? Yeah, me. I care about my situation. So out of self-love, I'm gonna figure out a way to get up out of here, because this is crazy. I'm not about to be slaving, because that's essentially what you are. You're slaving for crumbs. Meanwhile, there's people out here that are balling out of control, right? And this is not about money. I'm not really talking about that per se. I'm saying about the respect. It's really about the respect level of yourself. And that I have the respect to say, man, I care about myself so much that I'm going to figure out a way to put myself first, despite my situation. And many people don't take the time to do that. And they go decades of their life just taking the crumbs that the world gives them. And I want better for you guys, man. I know you guys are smarter than that. You guys are on the internet right now. And this internet is a powerful thing. This is a powerful tool that you guys can use to get you anywhere you want to be. You know, myself included. I kind of feel like I'm slacking, you know, but we're getting there. You know what I'm saying? We're getting there. But for now, I'm cool. I'm all right. I'm not mad. Right? I'm on the path. But the all this boils down to you just have to put yourself all the way number one, and making sure you are disciplining yourself. You know, it's almost like you have to be your own coach. You have to be your own parent. I find myself doing that a lot, you know. And even if your parents weren't the best, like some of us didn't have the best parents, they didn't always give us the best advice, mine included. But they love us, right? They love us. They gave us the best advice that they knew. But we have the internet, man. Our parents, most of our parents didn't have the internet like that. They had maybe the beginning stages of it. But we have it to where we know how to really use this stuff, and we can run with it and really go far with it. And, you know, with that tool, you can be better than your parents, right? That's the whole goal of life. You want to be better than your parents were. And it's all love. It's all love to my mom and dad. But I'm ahead of you guys, like in every way. And I want to prove it to not just them, but more so prove it to myself that I'm doing better than them. And it's to keep the growth going for your next generation. When you have kids, making sure that they do better than you, because there's going to be better things for them to take advantage of as well. Right. So, you know, ultimately it just boils down to prioritizing the things that need to happen, the things that you need to get done, man. You have to put those things first, and you have to be willing to discipline yourself, man. You got to be harder on yourself. You know, a lot of us need to be harder on ourselves. I found myself doing that quite a lot. Like today, for example, I didn't really feel like it, but I went on a 3-mile run. You know, I went out of town this weekend, man. I went to Dallas Friday overnight, hung out, you know, and, you know, did my little thing out there. And I even got a workout out there as well. Made sure I did that, even though I'm kind of just hanging out, having fun. But I made sure to put that into a priority that I had to get done. I got to get this workout, and there's no excuse. And that's a part of being a boss of your life. You got to be in charge and give yourself orders that you may not even want to do, but you do it anyways because you know the end result is going to benefit you. Just like a parent, you know, parents, what do? They tell us to do things We may not understand why they're telling us to do it. We may not like doing what they tell us to do. But at the end of the day, our parents know better than us when we're children, at least, right? And they know what's good for us. So we got to trust that their word is we can count on them. And we follow their instructions. The next thing you know, shit, we're doing better. You dig? So you have to be your own parent, man. You got to be your own coach. You got to be your own cheerleader, especially as a man, being a single man out here. Man, it's hard out here, bro. Trust me, I know. I was just thinking about this earlier today. I'm just like, man, we have to have a strong mind. Strong body is important too, but that strong mind is that's going to take you far in this world, especially. And especially as a man, a single man. It's like, this shit is not easy. Like, women have it a little bit easier because women are a little bit more social. Women oftentimes meet up with their girls. They have a girls' day. They go get a little pedicure together, this and that. They kind of bond, and they have a chance to regularly chop it up and catch up and this and that. But men, we don't really do that as much. We're kind of more so lone wolves in a way, right? And that's just how it is, unfortunately. I wish, men, we were kind of more like women in that way, of just kind of being more social and easier to meet a new homie, right? Women can just walk into a bathroom in the club and meet a girl, and now they're friends because they liked each other's hair or some shit, right? But men, we ain't on the same tip like that. We just focused in on our goals and we're in our own zone. But with that said, our mindset has to be powerful. It has to be supremely sharp. Because if it's not, man, this world will run us over if we're not careful. It'll run you over, chew you up, spit you out, won't give a damn about you, and the world's just going to keep on spinning like it's always been. So that's why it's important for us men to just have that strong mind, like a warrior, being a strong warrior out here. Not just physically, like I said, but mentally as well, spiritually as well, just well-rounded, strong, and able to handle anything that the world throws at you. Because the world is going to throw everything at you but the kitchen sink. That's just how it is. And that's fine. This is life, man. We're built for this challenge, man. Men, we're designed to handle shit like this. But I'm just here to let you know that you got it, man. Rely on your strength. Rely on your logic, which is a powerful tool to be able to think logically and rationally, to be able to see a problem before it happens, using that eagle vision. You can see something coming from afar before it even becomes a problem. Nip it in the bud. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like that in this world. It's because there's all kind of booby traps and stuff around the corner waiting for us to slip and step on a goddamn landmine. You know what I mean? But that's all entailed with, it comes with life. It comes with experience. This is why I love, man, I love getting older. I love just learning more every day. There's always something to learn. There's always new situations that you probably didn't see coming, but hopefully you learn from it. And now you can put that in your arsenal of, things that you've been through that you can now pull from experience and say, oh, I've been through this before. This is nothing. Like, I like everything, man. Like, we're dealing with chicks, just dealing with chicks right there. That's a whole category of bullshit right there. Like, how many chicks have done just acted stupid to the point where it doesn't even shock me no more. Like I expect women to be dumb, to do some dumb shit that doesn't make any sense. I expect it at this point. So that when a woman does act more rational and makes sense and is acting like she's trying to be acting proper, then it's like a pleasant surprise. Like, oh, okay, shit, you're serious. Okay, you're not an insane broad. Well, shoot, I'm gonna hear you out now. You feel me? And so all this kind of ties together. You know, women kind of represent life. All this stuff relates. You know, work, business represents life. Sports, you play sports. There's situations in sports that represent life. You're gonna go through some shit in a football game that's very similar to something you might handle at work, which is similar to something you might handle with abroad. It's all tied together. It's all similar, but it's a different, you know, obviously it's different categories, but they all kind of have similarities, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why it's important as a man to gain experience, as much experience with life as possible, so that you know what to do when different scenarios happen. And this is why it's important, man, to get out here and do different things and try things you may not necessarily want to do, but you kind of like want to try it out, right? Like you might want to go hiking, right? There might be some woods behind your apartment or something that it's not really a hiking trail, but it's like you want to go check it out because it's just it's just a bunch of woods that nobody's really checked out, but you just like, you want to see what's over there. So, but you're like, man, nobody goes there. Like I would look crazy going over there, but it's like, who cares? Just go over there, go check it out. Be a big kid, man. When I was a kid, I used to love going to the woods and just checking some stuff out and seeing what's over there. Find a little creek, and you just never know. You know what I'm saying? This is like part of life. You just got to try stuff out. You know, you might want to get into like pottery or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that looks cool. Like making a goddamn vase. You know what I'm saying? That's interesting. And it just makes your life more rich. You can just pull from so many experiences. You have a plethora of things that you can talk about, plethora of things that you know that can relate to other things in your life. And you become well-rounded, right? And this is what I really emphasize, man. They say you can either be what do they call them? A jack of all trades or a master of none, which essentially just means you can just specialize in one skill all the way, go all in on one skill, master that. Or you can be a well-rounded person who just knows a little bit of a lot of stuff, who dabbles in a whole bunch of different skills, but you never really master anything. You just kind of have an inkling of how to do certain things, right? But what I recommend, what I think is best is you can master one thing and still have the skills of a whole bunch of other things. And that's a very powerful position to be in as a man, to have a mastered some kind of craft. And on top of that, you have the ability to operate in so many other different skills to where you're so well-rounded, and people will never expect that you're good at this and that. You know, people that never expect, damn, he speaks Spanish and Portuguese. Wow. What's up with this guy? He speaks German too. What's up with dude? Who is this guy? You know, like a James Bond or something. It's just interesting. You want to be like your own movie character. You dig what I'm saying? You want to be You just want to be interesting. You want to be memorable. You want to be remarkable. You want people to talk about you in a good way when you're not around. You want to be fascinating, right? Like a Forrest Gump or something. Because, man, this life goes by so fast, and we get caught up in what society tells us what to do. But like I said, this whole video goes back to the topic at hand, which is being your own boss. Why you must be your own boss. Because if not, I'm telling you, man, life is just going to take advantage of the fact that you're not a boss. You're an employee, and you just do what you're told. And you don't think for yourself. You just, you read the handbook at this office, and that's all you do. And you do it well. And then you go home and you get your beer and you watch the game, and you do it again. You clock in the next day, and you get a mediocre wife who barks orders at you. And next thing you know, you're not even the boss of your own house. And that's the worst position to be in. I mean, goddamn, you go to work, you're an employee there. That's one thing. Okay. But damn, you come home and you're not even the boss of your own house. You know what I'm saying? The woman's telling you what to do, how things are going to go. I mean, that's how men eventually off themselves, right? Because it's like, what am I doing? I'm a man. That fire should be in you. That fire should be right here, man, in your chest. You should feel that. Like, man, nah, I'm a lion out here, right? And that's why it's important to not just have this mentality to be a boss of a business, but you got to be a boss of your life, so that when you're a woman, you have a woman with you, she is able to now be put into any position you need her to play, because you have something for her to do, because you know what needs to be done as a boss of your house. You know this, that, and the third needs to be accomplished. We're slacking in this department. Do this, do that. And you're not just out here barking orders, but you're doing things too. She's seeing you lead by example, right? So that's why it all comes down to you first being the boss of yourself. And not just saying it, but really behaving like a boss, and proving it not to just other people, but proving it to yourself that you know how to lead yourself to the promised land. All this stuff takes deep digging of your own mind. And if you have to, you may even have to brainwash yourself to really reprogram your mind, because your mind is a computer, man. Computers were actually modeled after the human brain, right? Computers are actually, in some ways, can outperform a lot of people, right? Computers can outperform most people, because most people overthink things, and they make their thoughts so crowded with so many BS thoughts that's to the point where they can't even make a decision. You can't even think clearly. But you know what? Computers can think super clearly. Computers don't overthink. You know what computers do? They think like in ones and zeros. That's it. Ones and zeros, period. They make a decision lightning quickly, which is what I strive to be like. What I always remind myself when I have to make a decision and I'm over here getting hesitant, and I try to just cut all that BS out and just get straight to the point. Make a decision quick. When you have a question, somebody questions you, have a quick answer, quick, because you got the answer in your brain. But a lot of us we hesitate and we second guess ourselves, Next thing you know, you're thinking about what you're thinking about, and it's like you get stuck. When really, as soon as somebody asks you a question, the answer should come right there because you have the answer, but you're just holding on to it and you're second guessing it when you shouldn't be like that. You should be more like a computer and get lightning quick results, lightning quick answers, and just getting straight to what it is, because your brain is more powerful than a computer. You see? Yeah, our brains are more faster than a computer, believe it or not. But many of us are not thinking like that. Many of us think computers are faster than us and more complex. No, sir. No, sir. The Most High did not give us a brain that the Most High did not give us this powerful tool in our mind and allow us to create something that's more powerful than our own mind. Maybe someday we'll get to that point, but it's not happened yet. I don't care about none of this AI stuff. All this AI stuff is cool. It's damn near magic. Trust me. I've seen some of this Facebook AI stuff. I don't know if y'all seen the Facebook AI image stuff. That's pretty powerful. I kind of play around with it. You could tell like Facebook, hey, make an image of this or whatever, right? And it's pretty interesting. But I don't care, man. There's somebody out here, and that's more powerful than that could draw up something real quick. Maybe they can't draw it up real quick, but the imagination is way more powerful than that. Let's just say that, right? So never underestimate that, man. Never let yourself think that you are not capable of doing some big shit. Know that you're more capable than any computer, and you're blessed with so many gifts, many of which you need to uncover and you need to get back to, right? But that's really what it all boils down to, man. It's just remembering your greatness and not falling for the traps of society. Not just not giving into the BS that the world makes you think. Because it's this whole world is full of scams, it's full of lies. But what's going to save you is remembering the truth and never forgetting the truth, which is that you're actually great. You may not have proven it to yourself yet. You may not have done something that's spectacular, or you may not have achieved something that will leave your name in the history books, but you're capable of it. And as long as you're capable of it, and as long as you know you're capable of it, that should give you hope and light a fire under you to really pursue something big. There's so many CEOs out here, they didn't strike gold till later in life. Like they always use the example of like Colonel Sanders, the CEO or the founder of KFC. He didn't really start that till I think in his 60s. Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's his biggest hit selling book. And he didn't make that till like in his 50s. And, he's still out here pushing strong, hustling. But I say all that to say, man, it's never too late, man. It's never too late to get on your grind and realize your power of being a boss and really pursuing that, taking advantage of that power, man. Because the world needs it, man. The world needs more bosses. But unfortunately, there's always going to be more employees than bosses. There's always going to be more poor people than rich people. And that's just how it is. But if you're watching this channel, man, I want you to be one of the rich ones. I want you to be one of the bosses out here. Because that's what I want to be associated with. Because I've always felt that deep down in my soul that I'm bigger and better than that. Even though back in the day, I didn't really have a way to prove it, but I always felt it. I always knew I'm bigger than this. And eventually I figured out a way to really show myself that. And I want you to do the same for yourself, man. All right. So that's really it, man. I hope this helps. I hope this registers with you. Hope this lights that fire up under you. And hope you push yourself to go further than you really ever thought you could, man. Because shit, I know I did. And I'm still going. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for myself and you as well. All right. But that's it, man. I appreciate y'all watching. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. It's late Sunday. Hope y'all have a great week. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.